It's the most wonderful time of the year, at least according to one Christmas song. More than any other holiday, the happiest season of all seems to blow into town with snow, ice, and its own soundtrack. But why do so many of these holiday hits have nothing but nonsensical lyrics? Bells on bobtails, boughs of holly, and who would ever need 10 lords a leaping? I don't, whatever the hell that even is. As a child, I always assumed it was one of those many you'll understand it when you're older things. Well, I'm older now, and I still don't understand. So I started sniffing around, went digging for answers, and I found at least some. But mostly, I found a lot of things that I wasn't really expecting.
From furry to the world around us, the research and ramblings of a dog. Welcome to Tasper's Tour Bus.
Welcome. I'm Tasper, and today's tour truly is a personal search for some answers. Many Christmas songs have seemed to make no sense to me for years. I can appreciate a song that has a catchy and contagious chorus, or a centuries-old religious hymn that's been put to song fine. But why am I singing about 12 Days of Christmas? My calendar has only ever shown me one. Now, obviously, many songs need no explanation whatsoever. I understand how to have a holly jolly Christmas while rocking around a Christmas tree, and I've lived in an area where it snowed, so I get the whole walking in a winter wonderland. But when it comes to singing about 12 Days of Christmas or giving away a ton of birds as gifts, well, I call foul. I've never actually seen this happen, which is probably good because, well, those gifts sounds just about as annoying as the actual song. It seems you actually can purchase all these things for your true love. At just shy of $52,000, though, you may want to opt for that new Ford Mustang. Or for a real bargain at $17,000, you could get them 10 lords a leaping. It's a gift they'll never expect. Or want. But I should point out, if you listen closely to the song, well, these are just the gifts for that single 12th day. You don't want to seem like a cheapskate. So you'll need to purchase 364 gifts at all, at a total of more than $218,000. In 2025, that's the cost of true love. And I mean, who wouldn't want 12 annoying partridges, each with their own pear tree? So where do we get the 12 Days of Christmas? Are there supposed to be 12 Days of Christmas? Well, it turns out, yeah, we just don't celebrate them anymore. The 12 Days of Christmas actually began on Christmas Day and continued to the eve of the Epiphany, the night before the three wise men or three kings arrived to Bethlehem bearing gifts and to worship the newborn baby Jesus. Historically, these 12 days were a huge continuous time of celebration, a tradition that in the United States had almost completely faded away by the end of the 1800s. So today, most Americans know nothing of this ancient tradition, only aware of any 12 days because of a song. Oh, that song. That crazy repetitive thing that builds like a snowball tumbling down a hill, picking up more and more gifts until finally, I changed the channel. So okay, we once celebrated 12 days after all, okay, fine. But what's with this song? Well, the first printed origin seems to be from a children's book in 1780, a book called Mirth Without Mischief. It's here that the first appearance of the 12 Days of Christmas is presented as being sung at King Pepin's ball, an almost certainly fictional figure and not a reference to the short-lived King of the Franks. The book itself contained many wood-carved illustrations and was wildly successful. The author is anonymous, a practice customary for publications around this time. The focus then was on the text the book contained and not who actually wrote it. So it turns out, we don't have anyone we can blame for these terrible lyrical gifts. But we do know who composed the famous melody as we know it today. That honor belongs to Frederick Austin, an English composer and baritone singer. He created the arrangement that includes the stretched-out 5 golden rings timing signature. That song became part of his concert repertoire in 1905, and this began to popularize both the song and his unique folk-style melody for it. But this doesn't explain the song's strange gifts. Some have tried to connect them to important figures in the Bible, a code secretly hidden within the lyrics, but this is generally considered to be unlikely. In 1780 London, where the book was published, Christians were free to discuss and learn about the Bible all they wanted, though some branches were less favored. So, concealing religious text in a story like this, it just simply wasn't necessary. The most likely scenario is actually this. The gifts used in the song were never important to start with. The focus was introducing this generations-old parlor game to children in a fun and interesting way. Parlor games, what we'd call party games today, were a popular social activity that would often be played during the 12 Days of Christmas. These games had easy rules so everyone within a group could play. Charades and I Spy are parlor games that are still sometimes played today. The 12 Days demonstrates a memory and forfeits game. The play was simple. Everyone gathered in a circle. The first person would say a line, then look to the player to their left or right. That player would then add something, then need to perfectly recite whatever the previous player had just said. Just like the song, the list grew larger and more difficult the longer it was played. And if you made a mistake, you had to forfeit a personal item, usually to whoever started the game. The game would often continue until there was a winner, a single player, who made no mistakes. But often the part that was the most anticipated round was reclaiming your lost items. To do this in front of everyone, you had to forfeit some of your own dignity. You may have to stand still while others pose you, dance around the room and pretend to be a chicken, or confess a secret that nobody knew that was kind of embarrassing. When you completed your task, your forfeited item, well, it would be returned to you. Today we think of this as just an overly repetitive song, one filled with silly gifts that no true love would really ever want. But it stands as a documented reminder, a tip of a hat to our own history of entertainment. From a world heated by fireplace, lighted from candles or oil lamps, and where Christmas truly was celebrated for a full 12 days. If you plan to deck the halls this holiday season and mimic the age-old song, you'll need to cut a few branches, also known as boughs, of holly from a tree like this. I didn't cut any. My neighbor was already unhappy with me being in his yard. Decorating homes with holly was extremely traditional before Christmas trees became the more popular choice. In the 1800s, you would expect to see most homes use this for holiday decorating, along with ivy and mistletoe. This was sort of their version of Christmas lights. The lyrics for Deck the Halls were actually written in a poetic style that was popular in the 1800s. It intentionally uses archaic English to give the song an authentic old-world sound. So even when the song was first published in 1862, its use of the English language was already considered somewhat obsolete and archaic, but it did match the holiday culture of the time perfectly, and the song's meaning was completely understood. Today, Deck the Halls is a fun little sing-along. We've probably all sang it ourselves. But in the 1800s, celebrations were huge events. They typically lasted for the full 12 days of Christmas. Deck the Halls is a late 1800s party anthem. You can hear it in the cadence and the rhythm chosen for the song. Picture a large outdoor bonfire surrounded by large drunken men loudly chanting fa la 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 la, slightly out of unison. The lyrics were written along with a much older Welsh melody, Nos Galan, which in English actually translates to New Year's Eve. The song's catchy fa la 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 chorus actually comes from that. What most of us don't actually know are the song's original English lyrics. We're only familiar with the ones that were publicized in 1877 and were sterilized for a U.S. school journal. Do you think you could spot the lines that were original and which were replaced? Well, let's find out. It's time to play a little Tasper Trivia. Yeah, that theme needs a little work. As I said, many lines from the version we know are not the original. As each one comes up, see if you can spot the line that is a replacement used to make the song a little bit more family-friendly. Here's your first one. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Is this the replacement or the original? If you guessed original, you're absolutely right. This opening line is a call to prepare for holiday celebrations. They decorate it with mostly holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly. This line, too, is the original. However, in the 1800s, jolly had a much broader meaning. Today, we'd probably equate it more to overindulge or simply party. Jolly expressed laughter and festive loud activity. It's the season for a huge bash. Don we now our gay apparel. This line is our first replacement, and it's a bad one that hasn't aged well. The original, fill the mead cup, drain the barrel, doesn't really require much explanation at all. Today we'd say fill your cup and empty the keg. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol. This one actually is a replacement. Troll the ancient Christmas carol is the original. I'm also showing it here with the traditional troll spelling I found. Now, troll is an archaic English word. You should sing those ancient Christmas carols using your full voice, something that tends to happen easily when you have a group that's large and encouraged to drink an entire keg. See the blazing Yule before us. If you guessed replacement, well, you're correct. Today, this line doesn't seem to make any sense, but in the 1800s, they understood this reference. This is the original. See the flowing bowl before us, which almost makes sense completely on its own. That spiked bowl of punch that you can fill your cup in at a party? Yeah, that's been around for a little while. That sound? That means it's time for the speed round. Strike the harp and join the chorus. This is the original, or at least close enough. It may have been join in and not join the. Come along and join in singing. Follow me in merry measure. Original. Follow my lead and let's dance together. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, there's that word Yule again. Yeah. This is a replacement. The original song never uses the word Yule at all. The original is actually While I Sing of Beauty's Treasure. This is a celebration with songs where we'll have music, we'll have dance, and we'll have drink. Lots of drink. Telling of Yuletide treasure, yeah, it's a buzzkill. Fast away the old year passes. This is the original. The year is almost over. Hail the new ye lades and lasses. I always want to say that wrong. But it is the original. It's a formal poetic way of saying, welcome to the new year, everyone. Sing we joyous all together. This is a replacement, although it's not a terrible one, at least we're singing again. Laughing, quaffing all together is the original. Now, quaffing is an old English word for drinking heartily or copiously. It's more like drinking in gulps than sips. Heedless of the wind and weather is pretty obviously the original. It closes out the song basically stating, this is a rain or shine event. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. But the actual title of this song is One Horse Open Sleigh. Hey, you probably didn't know that, did you? We simply call it Jingle Bells today. But the title isn't the only thing that's actually changed. Today we really only sing the very first verse. That's the one that contains Dashing Through the Snow. The original song actually has 3 verses, and a 4th one was mysteriously added a few years later. With its wintry imagery and festive first verse, today we consider it a Christmas song, but its lyrics actually pay homage to sleigh riding, a popular winter activity in the 1800s, mostly in parts of the New England states, an activity mostly associated with Thanksgiving, not actually Christmas. The lyrics that we don't sing today contain many horse and sleigh riding references. But sleighs weren't really just for transportation. They were also for leisure and sometimes sport. Young men would often race sleighs against one another. Showing off how fast your horse is was a popular way to impress a lady. In some ways, things haven't really changed much, have they? The tails for these horses were often bobbed by either being tied up or cut short. This helped avoid them from being tangled up in the reins. Sleighs on snow can be surprisingly silent, especially when you're bundled up to stay warm, so bells were often mandated to safely alert others that your sleigh was approaching. As such, the ring of bells of bobtailed horses were heard all winter long, and usually during your ride these bells would jingle all the way. Sleigh riding songs like this were extremely popular. Over the River and Through the Woods is yet another, and its lyrics come from a Thanksgiving Day poem. While sleigh trips may sound fun, and songs like Jingle Bells certainly depict that, in reality, we'd likely consider their ride to be uncomfortable today, more like sitting on a wooden park bench while in the back of a moving pickup truck, all bundled up trying to survive the cold. But compared to slow, loud, jarring ride of big wooden wheels connected to wagons or carriages that continuously bounced on dirt roads, clattered over gravel, and sank into mud, sleigh rides were fast, fun, smooth, and almost silent. Much like the difference of driving down a paved road versus one that's mostly dirt and gravel. So while the weather may have been cold, it made the normal tedious task of travel enjoyable and exciting.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank and then we got upset. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. a day or two ago. The story I must tell, I went out on the snow, and on my back I fell. A gent was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as there I sprawling lie, but quickly drove away. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.